What happens when one of the most talked about women in pop culture sits across from one of daytime TV's most outspoken voices, and neither of them is willing to back down? Make sure to subscribe to The Uncovered Angle and like and comment for more talk show coverage. The applause is loud as Kim walks out, smiling, composed, waving to the audience. Joy Behar is already at the table, leaning slightly forward, that familiar look on her face that says she's ready. Kim sits. They exchange a quick greeting. Joy starts calmly. Kim, you've built an empire. Beauty, fashion, TV, law studies. You're constantly in the spotlight. But with that comes criticism, especially about influence. Kim nods. Of course. Joy continues. There's this argument that your brand promotes unrealistic standards. Wealth, beauty, lifestyle. Do you think that's fair? A ripple moves through the audience. Kim answers evenly. I think it's a conversation worth having. But I also think it's often simplified. Joy tilts her head. Simplified how? Kim folds her hands on the table. I share my life. I work hard. I've built businesses from the ground up. I'm not pretending my life is average. It's not. But I'm also not telling people they have to live like me. Joy jumps in. But influence doesn't require instruction. You have hundreds of millions of followers. That's impact. Some applause. Kim nods. And I take that seriously. But I can't carry the entire responsibility for how culture reacts to images. Joy presses. You benefit from those standards, though. Kim doesn't hesitate. I've benefited from opportunity and work. Yes, I grew up around privilege. I've never denied that. But sustaining success for this long isn't automatic. The audience murmurs. Joy leans in slightly. Let's talk about the get up and work comment. That hit a nerve. There's a louder reaction from the crowd. Kim exhales softly. I know, and I've said before, I could have worded it better. Joy interrupts. But you meant it. I meant that in my experience, success takes effort, Kim says. Not that people struggling aren't trying. That's not what I believe. Joy studies her. But many people felt judged. Kim nods slowly. Then I understand why it hurt. That wasn't my intention. There's a subtle shift in the room. The tension is still there, but it's more focused now. Joy continues. Some critics argue you've contributed to a culture of comparison, especially for young women. Kim responds calmly. Comparison existed long before me, and I've been on the receiving end of it for years. I've been criticized for my body, my face, my relationships, everything. A few claps from the audience. Joy acknowledges that with a nod. That's true. But when you post highly edited images, private jets, luxury, everything, do you think about how that lands? Kim pauses for a moment. I think about my brand. I think about my businesses. I think about being transparent about the fact that my life is not typical. But I can't control every emotional response. Joy counters quickly. But doesn't accountability come with that level of influence? Kim's expression tightens slightly, but her tone stays steady. I'm accountable for my words and actions. I'm not responsible for every interpretation. The audience reacts, some applause, some hesitation. Joy crosses her arms lightly. Do you ever feel misunderstood? Kim lets out a small laugh. Every day. Light laughter from the audience. Joy follows up. Or do you feel criticized because you're powerful? Kim answers without flinching. Both can be true. The crowd goes quiet again. Joy leans closer. Let me ask you directly. Do you think your brand has done more good than harm? There's a noticeable pause. Kim takes a breath. I've created companies that employ thousands of people. I worked on criminal justice reform. I've used my platform to help free individuals from prison. I've inspired women to start businesses. She looks straight at Joy. But I also know I'm not perfect. If someone feels pressure by something I post, I'm willing to listen. I just won't apologize for building something successful. The audience breaks in a mixed applause. Joy nods slowly. That's fair. But this conversation isn't going away. Kim responds, and I'm not going anywhere. There's a small reaction from the crowd. Part laughter, part tension. Joy glances toward the cameras. We're going to take a quick break. The energy at the table feels heavier now. The smiles are thinner. The audience is buzzing. And it's clear when they come back, this debate is only going to get deeper. The applause fades as they return from break. The energy is different now, tighter. The smiles are polite, but the air feels heavier. Joy looks over at Kim. Before the break, we were talking about influence and accountability. I want to dig a little deeper. Kim nods. Okay. Joy doesn't hesitate. You said you can't control how every image makes someone feel. That's true, but you do control what you choose to show. So when you promote extreme luxury, does it ever feel disconnected from reality for most people watching? A few murmurs from the audience. Kim answers calmly. I don't promote luxury as standard. I show my life. There's a difference. Joy raises an eyebrow. Is there? Because when millions of young girls are scrolling and seeing curated perfection, it doesn't feel like just documentation. It feels aspirational. Kim leans slightly forward. Aspirational isn't inherently negative. Joy responds quickly. It could be if it's unattainable. The audience reacts with a mix of applause and hum. Kim keeps her composure. I grew up watching people I admired who had lifestyles I couldn't relate to. That didn't damage me. It motivated me. Joy shakes her head lightly. But you didn't grow up average, Kim. There's a sharper tone there now. Kim doesn't smile this time. No, I didn't. But I also didn't grow up with what I have now. There's levels to everything. Joy cuts in. That's true. But when you say things like anyone can build this, that's where people push back. Kim responds firmly. I don't say anyone can build exactly what I built. I say people can build something of their own. That's very different. A small wave of applause. Joy leans back for a moment, then forward again. Let's talk about beauty. Filters. Cosmetic procedures. Editing. Do you think there should be more transparency? The audience grows very quiet. Kim pauses. I've been transparent about a lot. Joy interrupts gently. Not everything. A soft reaction from the crowd. Kim holds her gaze steady. I don't know the world, a medical record. There's an audible "oh" from somewhere in the audience. Joy keeps her tone measured. No one's asking for that. But when your look sets trends, when people alter their faces to resemble you, does that weigh on you? Kim takes a breath. It weighs on me that society equates beauty with worth. That's not something I created. Joy nods but pushes again. But you benefit from it. Kim's tone tightens slightly. I benefit from business decisions. Marketing. Branding. I don't sit at home thinking, how can I make someone feel insecure today? A few claps break out. Joy responds, I don't think anyone believes that's your intention. Kim answers quickly. Then what are we implying? The tension sharpens. Even the audience shifts in their seats. Joy speaks more directly now. We're asking whether massive platforms require a higher level of social responsibility. Kim nods once. And I'm saying I try to be responsible. I've adjusted how I post. I show less of certain things. I've talked openly about mental health, about pressure, about therapy. Joy tilts her head. But you still sell an image. Kim doesn't back down. Everyone on television sells an image. There's a brief, charged pause. The audience reacts. Some applause, some surprised laughter. Joy smiles slightly. You're not wrong. Kim continues, a bit more passionate now. This table sells opinions. News outlets sell narratives. Social media sells lifestyles. I'm not the only one participating in that system. The crowd grows louder. Mixed reactions. Joy raises her hand slightly, signaling calm. Okay, but we're not talking about everyone. We're talking about you. Kim looks straight at her, and I'm answering honestly. There's a beat of silence. Joy shifts direction slightly. Let me ask you this. Do you ever feel pressure to maintain the brand? To look perfect, to stay ahead? Kim exhales, and for the first time her voice softens. Of course. It's exhausting sometimes. The audience quiets again. Kim continues. There's constant scrutiny. If I gain weight, it's headlines. If I lose weight, it's headlines. If I post too much, I'm attention-seeking. If I don't post enough, I'm irrelevant. Joy nods slowly. That part won't understand. Public life isn't easy. Kim adds, it's not just public life. It's amplified. Every angle, every frame, every comment. Joy watches her closely. Then why stay in it? Kim answers without hesitation. Because I built something meaningful to me. And because I believe I can use the platform for good. Joy raises a brow. You mentioned criminal justice reform earlier. Some critics say that feels like an attempt to reshape your image. A noticeable shift runs through the audience. Kim's expression changes, firmer now. That's insulting. A few claps erupt. Joy stays steady. I'm voicing what's out there. Kim nods. And I'm responding. I've worked on cases for years. I met families. I've studied law. That's not a PR move. Joy asks calmly. But you understand the skepticism? Kim pauses. I understand that people are skeptical of everything I do. That doesn't mean it's fake. The audience reacts again, this time louder in support. Joy glances toward the audience briefly, then back at Kim. Do you think you're judged more harshly than others? Kim responds quietly, yes. Joy doesn't argue immediately. Why? Kim answers. Because I'm visible. Because I'm successful. Because I'm a woman who built wealth publicly. There's a wave of applause. Joy tilts her head. Or because you represent a culture people feel overwhelmed by. Kim considers that. Maybe both. That lands differently. The tension dips for just a second. But Joy isn't done. So let me ask you something personal, Joy says. When you look at your daughters growing up in this environment, does that change how you see the criticism? The audience leans in. Kim's face softens slightly. Absolutely. Joy waits. Kim continues. It makes me more protective. It makes me think about what I post. It makes me think about the example I'm setting. Joy nods. So you do see the impact. Kim looks at her directly. I've never said I don't. The crowd murmurs. This is where it gets real. Joy's tone becomes firmer again. Then why does it feel like every time this conversation comes up, there's resistance instead of ownership? There it is. Kim doesn't answer immediately. She takes a breath. Because sometimes, she says slowly, it feels like no matter what I say, it's not enough. The room goes very quiet. Joy watches her carefully. Maybe that's because people want change, not explanation. Kim responds, steady but emotional. Change into what, though? Smaller? Less visible? Less successful? The tension spikes again. Joy shakes her head slightly. Not smaller. More aware. Kim nods once. I am aware. Joy leans in, voice calm but firm. Then show it. A mix of applause and audible reactions fills the studio. Kim sits back slightly, jaw set but controlled. I am showing it. Maybe not in the way everyone wants, but in the way that's authentic to me. The audience buzzes. Joy glances toward the camera. We're going to continue this. They return from break again, and this time the energy is unmistakably tense. The applause is there, but it's thinner. The audience knows this isn't just a light celebrity interview anymore. Joy looks at Kim without the earlier half smile. Before we went to break, I said, then show it. I want to stay there for a second. Kim nods slowly. Okay. Joy continues. You say you're aware of the impact. You say you think about your daughters. So what does showing it actually look like for you? Kim answers carefully. It looks like being more mindful. It looks like posting less edited content. It looks like having real conversations about pressure, about beauty standards, about work ethic. Joy tilts her head. But isn't that reactive? After backlash. A soft wave of reaction from the audience. Kim's expression tightens slightly. Growth often comes after feedback. Joy responds quickly, or after criticism. Kim nods. Criticism can be feedback. There's a brief pause. The audience seems split, some nodding, some watching skeptically. Joy leans forward again. Here's where some people struggle. You say you don't want to be responsible for how people feel. But your entire brand is built on emotional connection, on aspiration, on influence. Kim responds calmly, yes. And influence isn't automatically harmful. Joy interrupts, but unchecked influence can be. Kim doesn't flinch, which is why I try to be conscious. But I also refuse to exist in constant apology. The audience reacts, a mix of applause and murmurs. Joy raises her eyebrows slightly. You feel like you're constantly asked to apologize? Kim answers without hesitation. Yes. Joy challenges her. For what? Being wealthy? Kim shakes her head. For being visible. For being ambitious. For embracing how I look. For changing how I look. It's never ending. There's scattered applause. Joy softens her tone just a little. But Kim, there's a difference between ambition and excess. That word hangs in the air. Excess. Kim catches it immediately. Excess according to who? Joy answers. According to a society struggling with inflation, housing costs, real-world issues. When people see diamond-covered everything while they're trying to afford groceries, it can feel tone-deaf. The audience claps louder this time. Kim takes a breath. I understand that perception. I really do. But should I pretend my life isn't what it is? Joy replies, not pretend. Just contextualize. Kim leans in slightly. Context doesn't always go viral. A few surprised laughs break out. Joy nods. That's honest. Kim continues. If I post about a business meeting, it doesn't trend. If I post glam, it does. That's not just me. That's the algorithm. That's culture. Joy responds, but you're powerful enough to influence culture. Kim says firmly, I influence trends. I don't control global values. The tension rises again. Joy looks directly at her. You don't think you shape beauty standards? Kim pauses. I think I'm part of the conversation, not the origin of it. Joy presses. But when surgeons advertise inspired by you procedures, that doesn't alarm you? A hush falls over the audience. Kim's voice lowers slightly. Of course it does. I don't encourage that. Joy follows quickly. But you benefit from the image that drives it. Kim's composure wavers just a fraction. So what would you have me do? Publicly tell people not to copy me? I've said countless times, do what makes you happy. Joy responds, but happiness tied to appearance can be dangerous. Kim counters, then that's a bigger societal issue. Joy doesn't let it slide. And you're part of that society. The audience reacts again, louder now. Kim sits back slightly, her tone firmer. I feel like no matter how much good I do, reform work, advocacy, business mentorship, it always comes back to how I look. Joy responds quietly, but directly, because how you look is central to your brand. There's a sharp silence. Kim nods once. It started that way, but it's evolved. Joy asks, has it evolved enough? The question lands heavy. Kim pauses longer this time. I'm evolving. In real time. In front of the world. That's not easy. A few supportive claps. Joy studies her. Do you ever think about stepping back? Reducing the spotlight? Kim answers quickly. No. Some laughter breaks the tension. Joy smiles faintly. Why not? Kim's voice is steady. Because I've worked too hard to build it. And because I believe I can shape it in a better direction. Joy nods slowly. Then maybe the real issue isn't whether you have influence. It's what you choose to prioritize with it. The audience murmurs again. Kim responds, I prioritize my family, my businesses, my advocacy work. Joy adds, and the image? Kim looks directly at her. The image is part of the business. There it is, blunt and honest. The audience reacts strongly. Applause mixed with audible reactions. Joy leans back slightly. That's probably the most direct answer you've given. Kim shrugs lightly. I'm being honest. Joy nods. And honesty is good. There's a brief, charged pause between them. The disagreement hasn't disappeared, but it's clearer now. Less about accusation, more about philosophy. Joy glances toward the camera. When we come back, I want to talk about what happens after moments like this, the backlash, the headlines, and whether any of this actually changes anything. The audience claps, some still buzzing from that last exchange. Kim adjusts slightly in her seat, composed but visibly more guarded than when she first walked out. This isn't just debate anymore. It's personal. They come back for the final segment, and the mood has shifted. It's not explosive, it's reflective. The audience applause fades quickly, like everyone understands this is the closing stretch. Joy looks at Kim with a calmer expression. So let's talk about what happens after today. After moments like this, Kim gives a small smile. Headlines. Light laughter from the audience. Joy nods. Clips online. Tweets. Think pieces. You'll be trending before you even leave the building. Kim shrugs slightly. That's the cycle. Joy asks directly, does it ever get to you? Kim pauses. Sometimes. I won't lie. I see things. My family sees things. My kids will eventually see things. The room quiets. Joy softens. And does that make you rethink how public you are? Kim answers honestly. It makes me more intentional. But it doesn't make me disappear. A few claps. Joy nods. Fair enough. She turns slightly toward the audience. Because whether people agree with you or not, you've built something huge. Kim responds, and I'm still building. And still learning. Joy looks back at her. Do you think conversations like this actually change anything? Kim considers it. I think they make people think. And that's something. The audience applauds, this time more unified. Joy gives a small smile. Well, you definitely made people think today. Kim smiles back. You too. There's a subtle acknowledgement between them. Not agreement, but respect. Joy turns to camera. All right, that's all the time we have. The applause rises as the cameras begin to pull back. And just like Joy predicted, within minutes clips begin circulating online. Social media splits in real time. Some praise Kim for standing her ground. Others say Joy asked the hard questions that needed to be asked. Hashtags trend. Comment sections explode. Supporters call Kim composed and honest. Critics call the answers strategic. By the time Kim leaves backstage, her team is already monitoring reactions. Short clips of the image is part of the business, and I won't apologize for success dominate timelines. Opinion columns start forming before the afternoon is over. But the biggest reaction? Viewers debating it themselves. And now I want to hear from you. Was Kim justified in defending her brand? Or did Joy have a point about responsibility and influence? Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to The Uncovered Angle for more real talk show stories.